Hey everybody, welcome back to the Metal Mill 52 workshop. I've got the rotating stake plate. I've got it all nicely finished. After I finished all the machining, I went around all the edges with a file and got it nice and smooth. I put it on an arbor and cut the little bevel edge on both the top and the bottom. I don't know if you can see that in the video, but I got that done. There were some machine marks, some tool marks. The bottom has a tool mark that it would take forever to get out. The top had some very faint ones that I sanded down on my surface plate and a piece of sandpaper. I went 220 grit down to, 150 grit, wet or dry with WD-40 as a lubricant, and then 220 grit, and then 400 grit. And I used this figure 8 motion to get it nice finish on the top there. So it's ultra smooth, feels really nice. So I'm getting ready to case harden it, and I'm using this cherry red stuff that I got from, I think I got this from Enco, case hardening compound. It's made by the Rose Mill Company in Hartford, Connecticut. So as you saw before, when I heat treated the other parts, when I case harden them, you heat the part up red hot. That's why they call it cherry red. And then you put it in the, let's see if you can see that. You cover it completely with the cherry red compound, top and bottom. So that's why I've got the vice grips here. Once I get it hot, I'll probably heat it up on its edge like this, get it cherry red, and then coat it top and bottom in the cherry red compound, and then you have to heat it back up again in the cherry red stuff, and then quench it in water. So I've got actually the TV camera is sitting on top of my water container, so I'll be cutting the video off after I do the second heating, and I'll just let it cool down a little bit. Then I'll cut the video off before I quench it in the water, but I'll show. I'm going to do several segments. So I also made I got some urethane drive rod, not drive rod, but drive belting, and I never used that stuff before, and I made a drive belt for the motor, so I'll show you that in a later episode. So let's get started with the heating this thing up. Got the safety glasses on, cutting this is just propane. A little breezy out here. Time to get this thing red hot. silver steel color to the blue, the dark blue. Now it's getting reddish, so I'm gonna get ready. You can see that on the video, but it's pretty much a deep cherry red right now. I'm going to do the top first. Completely coated in the stuff. Hard to tell when it's cherry red again. I'm just going to keep the heat on it for a while. Looks like it's glowing red underneath that stuff, so I think we're done with the heating. I don't know if y'all can see that very good. I'll let it set right here for a second, cut my gas off. Alright, I'm going to cut the video off so I can remove the camera and quench it in the water. Hey everybody, thought I'd show a little after action kind of thing on the rotating steak plate. So after you heat it cherry red, dunk it in the cherry red compound, take it out, heat it up cherry red again. What I do, I let it cool for a little while because I don't know if something this thick would warp or not, but I don't want to risk it. We want it to be nice and flat. So I let it cool off a little while before I put it in the water. The cherry red material is water soluble, so most of it comes off in the water. The next thing I do, you can see how dirty this water is, I put it in some soapy water and scrubbed it with a brass scrub brush like that. Got it down to the basically what looks like a dirty finish there, and then I just took the Dremel tool. I put one of the abrasive compound, not abrasive compound, but one of the polishing wheels on there. I started with the coarse one just to remove the scale there, and when I get done removing the scale on the entire thing, then I'll put the polishing wheel on the Dremel tool and polish it up a little bit. So that'll complete the rotating steak plate. I'll probably post some pictures on Instagram of this and show you what it looks like, but real happy with how that came out. You can take a file on it. I took a file to the top part, and it has definitely got a hardened finish. The file didn't want to bite in there. I did try it on the bottom as well, and the file will actually bite a little bit on the bottom, so It's not quite case hardened on the bottom as good as it is on the top, but I think that's actually probably an okay thing, because I'll be hitting against this thing. You just want the, as far as I understand, you want the top part to be very nice and resilient, nice and hard, so that it doesn't absorb dings and so forth when you're using it as a staking plate. So that's the rotating stake plate. I did the fit worked fantastic. I guess I'll do a segment about that with the bolt and the slot in there. You can see that I milled the little 3/32 inch slot. I actually milled it a little bit wider, and the bolt fits in there just great, and it sits inside the, there's how it fits down, and see if you can see underneath there the little tab. Probably not, but it sits down deep enough so that the tab is inside the table, and it just the rotating part rotates just fine. So real pleased with how that all came out. And also, I don't know if you can see this or not. Let me grab the camera and move it over here a little closer. But I got some of this. This is the Blue Max type of urethane drive belt material. I got a 10-foot piece of it for about $20 off of eBay, and that's a little, that's including the shipping cost. So a little more expensive than the green and the orange kind. I've never used this stuff before, but the Blue Max people in New Jersey, they say this is made in USA, and it doesn't seem real stretchy. Having watched, I've never used this stuff before, but as I said, but some of the ones with the orange and the green, it looked like that material is pretty stretchy. It's not real stretchy on this, and all I did, there's tons of videos on YouTube about how to join the ends together, but I just used a propane torch, heated up a razor blade, put the two ends together like this, I could see when they melted. I had gloves on, just brought them straight over and pushed them together and held them steady for a while, and then well, it was still a little bit warm, I mashed it in with the gloves. Probably really didn't need to do that part, because you end up snipping some off anyway. And so anyway, I'm pleased with how it came out. Let me see if you can see this or not. I do have the motor plugged in, and let me pull the camera a little closer here. You can see, there we go. Let me go ahead and turn it on. You can see the blue drive belt. Crank it up. The action is nice and smooth. That's obviously using the router speed control part for the variable speed. So I'll turn it off and just go to full blast here. First time I've done that. See a little bit of wobble in the belt there. Not too bad. It's not real stretchy. It's like it finds the right frequency and settles in, and it's not vibrating much at all. So real pleased with that. I like the blue color. Goes nicely with the rest of the colors on the machine, so not that that was a major consideration, but it's just a nice extra. So there we have that update. I will keep you posted. Hey folks, thought I'd follow up with some details that I was a little vague about in the last iteration. The Dremel buffing wheels that I used are these finishing abrasive buff. There are two of them come in a package. One is 180 grit and the other is 280. So it's very obvious which is which. They're perfectly handy for cleaning the scale off. So I've cleaned the scale off, used both of them, buffed it, and got it nice and clean. And then I went over it with some WD-40 to make sure I had any residue removed. And I just finished putting a coat of Johnson's paste wax on, like I've showed before, the automotive type. So let me show you how this all goes together. So here's the plate with the slot in it. Put the bolt in with the pin, rotate it around so that the head sits, it's actually just under flush. I made it about 5 thousandths lower than the center, than the thickness of the disc, so it wouldn't stick up and wouldn't interfere with anything that I had laid across there that I was working on. And then here's the little table. This is the piece that I machined out of was 2.5 inch solid stock. It took all day one day to machine it down, and as you can see, that's got the little notch milled in it. using the vertical mill. It's a 3/32 inch notch. So it all fits together this, I didn't show you how it fits together. Show you how it fits together. So put the notch up there. Hopefully you can see that kind of against my sweatshirt. The tab notch is up. It all slips together. Rotate it. There we go. So it slips together, and then actually this thing is small. No, it's 3/4 inch, so it won't fit through the arm. But that's how it sits together. And now the table can rotate. And I'm going to use the alignment method that they talk about in the Home Shop Machinist magazine, which is simply I'll be making a piece for the upper arm, and I'll make a thing I can drop down, a centering device I can drop down into the countersunk hole there that doesn't go all the way through. That will align the table with the upper arm, and then I can lock everything down, and then I'll be able to rotate. I don't know if there's any light back there, but I'll be able to rotate the whatever hole I need. You can kind of see there we go. I'll be able to rotate it through to whatever hole I need, and that the hole will be centered on the large hole in the table. So I hope that makes sense. Let me see if I can set it in place. I don't know if the camera will pick this up or not, but is it? Yeah. Okay. So set it down. The little snug nut, put that on the bottom. There we go. I'm not going to snug it just yet, but you can lock the table into position with the ball handles, and then that won't rotate, and then but the top part will. So I hope that makes sense. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll continue to keep you posted.